Hello all and welcome to All Red. It's Liverpool hosting Nottingham Forest. And let's hope that there's no heroics from the Forest men in this one. It's me, Sam, back with you with, of course, massive friend of the show, Aaron Cowell. Cowell, not Cowell. Aaron, it's good to see you, brother. How you doing?
Très bien. I'm very good, mate. Very good.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Well, we're going to look at potential starting 11s for Liverpool v Forest, and kind of talk about the preview in this, what to expect, and if there's any potential bear traps, as it were, for the Liverpool squad. So let's dive right in, Aaron. I've kept this the same, of course, as what we've seen so far from Arne Slot. He seems to prefer the same starting 11. And so what do you think, Aaron? Do you see any changes coming to this starting 11 as Liverpool host Forest?
No changes. I see no changes because, I've seen a few little niggles like Mac Allister popping up over the international break with a strain to his adductor. But he's training differently. That tells me that there's nothing serious in that, and apparently he's the one concern out of these teams. So out of this team. So I was worried about Konate because playing Konate over the international break and playing Jota over the international break. These guys have picked up injuries on international breaks on occasions.
Yeah.
But from what I can see, and I know, touch wood, we have one more game in the international break. I feel that, fingers crossed, we'll get away with this scot-free without any injuries. And that team that you have on paper there, Sam, I believe is the team.
I agree. I don't see any reason to change. I think, as we get further into the season with Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup games coming hot and fast, we're going to see some changes eventually to this, but there's really no reason to change this now. I think the plan has been clear from Arne Slot. He wants to get this starting 11 integrated. It's clear he wants to get his style and his method of play ingrained in this starting 11 to build some camaraderie, to build some familiarity. And so I think that, barring any other issues during the international break, I think this will be the squad. And I think some key matchups in this. Again, I think it's going to come down to, can we come back from the international break? Can we pick up where we left off? You think back to the first game of the season against Ipswich, and you kind of wonder if there might be a little bit of a lull. I remember many times under Klopp, we'd come back from an international break and you just wonder, like, okay, how long is it going to take for us to get back up to speed? How long is it going to take to shake off a little bit of that rust? And so I think that's going to be key. How does Arne Slot handle that, right? How does he handle coming back from a break when the players haven't been with each other for 2 weeks and hit the ground running? I'm very curious. I'm curious to see if Arne Slot has figured that out. Is his style international break proof, right, Aaron?
Yeah, it's a concern for the South American guys, isn't it? They have quite a distance to travel. I believe that actually there's games in the early hours in terms of the sort of the UK time. I think there's games in South America Wednesday morning. So that gives very little time for the likes of Diaz, Mac Allister, and Alisson to be able to get back. But I mean, listen, I believe Slot is a very, very intelligent manager who really thinks about this kind of thing. And I believe what you see there on the screen is the team he wants in the Premier League. Now, I think he'll utilise his squad members against West Ham in the Carabao Cup. And I think he'll make a few tweaks, but keep his more durable players, the players with real fitness history, players that don't necessarily get injured on a regular basis. I think he'll use them against the likes of an AC Milan. I think his full squad, when we get to the likes of a Real Madrid, that's his team there on paper. That's his best team on current form. I don't think anyone can argue that. And I
Right.
believe that's what he's going to go with. In the big games, this will be the team he turns to. And I think he'll try and play some of the fringe players, your Nunez's, your Gakpo's, your Elliott's, against West Ham and against AC Milan, and try and play them into a little bit of form. So come the substitutions around 60, 70 minutes,
Yep.
I mean, we're looking at 18 players that are all on form.
What we've seen from Slot so far is if Liverpool can get out to a 2-goal lead, I think at least we'll see just a kind of a calm, cool, collected style from the team. A lot of possession, a lot of slow buildup, and I think that's the model. Whether or not you like that, I know I've seen a few comments. A little section, I think, of the fan base is like, this is a little boring. Like, this is, we're not used to this. We're used to like, okay, we're 3 to 4 goals up. Let's keep hammering. Klopp's style was just, I'm just going to beat you to death, even if, of course, against the Man Uniteds of the Premier League, 5-0, 7-0, we're just going to keep hammering you no matter what. We haven't seen that from Slot. We've seen, okay, we've got a 2-goal lead, 3-goal lead. We're just going to possess. We're going to chill. We're going to, kick it back down to first or second gear, and we're just going to see it out. And I think there's a reason for that. I think that's just, if you think about the entirety of a full season for Liverpool, you want to conserve as much energy. You want to minimize as much injury. And so, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Like, hey, we get a 2-3 goal lead. Let's dink it around. Sure, we'll still have chances. We'll still have our chances to score after that. It's not like they're just going to hold it in the corner. But I think the model so far is clear, that we're not going to be all out for 90 minutes if we don't have to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's a smart way to play. I think we see other teams do that, in particular Manchester City.
Yeah, they're the best at it.
They are. And sure, maybe that's not as exciting as Klopp's, full 90 plus gegenpress. We saw that last season, where you had a player like Darwin Núñez when we're 3 or 4 goals up, and he's still full sprint. When the other team's got the ball in their defensive third, he's going all out. He's sprinting. He's slide tackling, and that's great. You want to see that from your players, but at the same time, control, serenity when we've got a lead. And I think that's smart. So I'm not saying that's going to happen in this. You never know what's going to happen. But Liverpool at Anfield, you would peg the Redmen to probably get a lead of some sort, before the 60, 70th mark. And we might see that. Now, I've got a question for you, Aaron. Do you think we see Federico Chiesa in this match?
No.
Okay. He's not making his debut.
I think you see Federico Chiesa in either, or if not both, maybe a start and a sub appearance in the Carabao Cup, and also in the Champions League. I feel he's got more chance of starting in those games, purely because, firstly, he knows AC Milan.
Yeah.
That's our first game. On occasions, he's tore AC Milan apart with his pace, his skill, his finishing. This guy's a baller in Italy. Why not play someone against them that's used to playing against them? And actually, it's a really good introductory, a really good introduction into a game. Yeah, to go back to familiar territories. Play against a team you played against many times, and actually say, do you know what? I'm in a better team, and I'm going to show you how good I am.
Yeah.
What an amazing way to imagine he plays against AC Milan. We punish them, and Chiesa's the man. That just shows that was the right decision. So hopefully he keeps his fitness as well. I know he picked up some minor injuries last season, but he wasn't as injury prone last season as everyone makes out. He had small injuries on a few occasions.
Yeah.
My guess is that the Premier League game is too soon. I feel that Slot, who is a little bit unpredictable with his substitutes, will probably look at playing the likes of, Given Elliott, 10 or 15 minutes at the end, looking at getting Gakpo and Nunes on with 25 minutes to go, just to scare them with pace. And he'll have that more controlled, sort of usual sort of substitution approach. And I think he'll look at 3 competitions as separate competitions and think separate teams, different teams for each competition. Slot's a thinker.
Yes.
And one thing that I know you mentioned there, Sam, about everyone's like, well, maybe this isn't the most exciting football in the world. Klopp's football last season was slow and very, very passive football. There was no heavy metal football to be seen throughout the whole season. And actually, had a bit of control been introduced, you may have seen those results towards the end of the season being a little bit more productive, maybe a little bit, maybe a few more wins where we could close games out rather than going 1-0 up. I mean, how many times did we go 1-0 behind and then chase a game?
Absolutely.
I think we set a record for, I remember the season wasn't even done yet. We'd gone behind 21 times in the season. That is insane for a team of Liverpool's stature and success. And success last season as well. We were looking at one point for a quadruple. We'd gone behind 21 times.
Yep.
And there was about 10 games to go left in the season. So, the control wasn't there. And had someone like a Slot, who has that more controlled approach, been at the helm, who knows? There may have been an extra trophy. I'm not saying we'd win the quadruple, but you know what? There might have been an FA Cup in there as well. That Man United game may not have slipped away under Slot because of their control, and we were ahead in that game at one point. Yeah, but it's a lot to ask to do a quadruple. And listen, it's ifs, buts, and maybes. What I see from Slot now is I see exciting football, really good one-touch passing, those little interchanges and the triangles in and around the final third.
Yeah,
they're unbelievable football. If you can't get excited by that football, I don't know what you can get excited by, because that is electric. That passing and that movement is amazing, and I love it. I like this guy a lot.
Yeah, and we need to remember we're 3 weeks in. Or three matches. We've had 3 matches now, like legit competition in the Premier League. Not even the best teams, and we're already seeing. There was one comment I think yesterday or the day before on one of our videos that said we're 3 games into the Slot era, and the playing, the method, the style is already clear. Erik ten Hag's 3 years into United and still doesn't have a plan. And I was like, that is so true. Arne Slot has come in, and we knew this about him. He's done this before in other teams. He comes in. He had to do this like 2 or 3 times at Feyenoord, where they sold a bunch of players, brand new team the next season, and you hit the ground running. You've got the style. It's already built in.
He's a coach.
And it's a testament to the way that he's able to communicate, the way he's able to lay out his plan for his players, make it clear.
Agree.
And now that he has a team of world-class players. He's got world-class players at his disposal for the first time in his coaching career.
And he's developing. Potential world-class players.
He is.
You look at Gravenberch. If Gravenberch keeps up this form, and keeps developing, who is to say that he isn't the next world-class player in the team?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned something to me, Sam. Back in the day, when him and Bellingham were coming through, these were the 2 guys that they were looked at as the next stars in the game. Bellingham and Gravenberch. Apologies to your Dutch contingent. But listen, if this guy develops, I'm watching him now, and I don't want to get too excited yet because we have played teams that are in the middle of the park, not as strong as we are. Right. Once we start playing if Gravenberch goes in against Arsenal, Man City, and has a game against them, a real game, dominates the ball, stretches those legs, that little ball on the half turn, mate, we could be talking about the next, potential world-class player within the squad. Yeah. Mac Allister, amazing. Mac Allister's amazing as well. Yep. The only thing with Mac Allister is he's such a baller. I wish this guy had pace. Imagine Mac Allister with pace. He'd be unreal.
Needs to grow like 6 inches. If he had Gravenberch's height and length, But no, he's
Put
our
them two
he's
together,
our
Sam. Yeah, put them two together, and you
yeah.
have a baller. Yeah,
Meld them together. No, I mean they're ballers in their own rights.
agree.
McAllister has that shorter, lower center of gravity that I think is just a different dynamic than a Gravenberch. We saw that against Manchester United. He was able to wrestle the ball away from those United players, and what I loved about that was it was like, oh my goodness, like the training methods that we've seen from Slot in this early period are already starting to bear fruit, right? Like we're already starting to see why he does that. Like we were so much more physically strong than this Manchester United team.
Unbelievably so. I look at McAllister. He's very Gundogan like.
Yeah.
Similar frame, plays football a little bit like Gundogan, and you look at how much Gundogan was valued for Man City. It's the reason they brought him back, actually.
Yeah.
McAllister reminds me very like Gundogan, and he plays football very, very simple, very intelligent footballer.
Yep. Well, Aaron, we got to do some score predictions here. And what did you say last time for the United game? Were you 2-1? Was it 2-1?
2-1 Liverpool.
2-1. All right. So you were close. I said 3-1. It was 3-0. My 6-year-old was the only one that I knew of that actually got it right. He said 3-0. So well done to Lincoln.
Superstar in the making, Lincoln, yeah.
Superstar in the making. Future all-red host. I'm sure he'll wrestle it away from me. I'll go first this time. I'm going to say, oh, man, I don't want to be greedy, Aaron. I'm going to go 4-0.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little bit greedy, Sam.
A little greedy, but we're at Anfield.
A little bit greedy.
We're at Anfield, Aaron. I feel like the style is just going to keep getting more ingrained in the players, but it is greedy. But I'm going 4-0. That's what my heart tells me.
Yeah. So Forest are doing okay at the moment. I think they've had an okay start to the league. There's a player in the team that's given us problems in the past, and he's an ex-Liverpool player, Taiwo Awoniyi. Yeah, and for some reason, this guy, he gives Virgil van Dijk some problems. But I think at Anfield, current form, and we're keeping clean sheets. I think you're right. I think we'll keep another clean sheet. I don't think we'll score 4, but I can definitely see a 3-0.
3-0? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that popped into my head, and then I was like, I'm gonna go for one more there. But yeah, no, that's smart, Aaron. That was the result last year at Anfield, around this same time of year in October, 3-0 to Liverpool, of course. That was Jota, Nunez, and Salah goals against Nottingham Forest. And so, yeah, great. 4-0 to me, 3-0 to you. I think we're feeling good about that. Nottingham Forest did not score against us last season. Of course, the year prior, they actually beat us at their own ground and scored 2 at Anfield. But last year, 3-0 and then 1-0 away. And I think that'll continue. I think the clean sheets will continue. Let us know what your score predictions are in the comments. What do you think about this starting 11? I don't foresee too many negative comments down there because this has been the team of choice. Let us know. Get your comments in below. And as always, up the Reds.
Yeah, of course.